Over the last couple of months, I've become educated about the Robert Alexander Center. I get to meet another member of the team, and you do as well. This is Mr. Josh Anderson, and Josh is a behavioral health tech, and you also deal with veterans as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
Welcome to the show, Josh.
All right, thank you.
I think we should tell folks beforehand, because I think this is important. You connect with veterans for a reason. You are a veteran, correct?
Yes.
All right, so thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and when I think about behavioral issues, and then I think veterans, I'm thinking PTSD. Is that part of what you do, Josh?
It's a part of, I can talk to veterans about kind of some of the things that I've experienced and went through myself, but we do at the center have therapists and stuff that can kind of dive deeper into a little bit of that stuff, because it takes, you know, a little higher level of, you know, care to kind of really open some of those things up. But I can just relate with the veterans and then kind of, you know, guide them and talk to them and just give them some suggestions of things that I did to help me with my PTSD.
See, Josh, I think you're very humble, but to me that may be the most critical component, because if I'm going through, okay, and I think this is a fair analogy, if I'm going through any kind of health issue, I want to talk to someone who's had that issue.
Yes.
My brother had a heart transplant. He wanted to talk to someone who had it and said, what's that like? So being a veteran who went through some PTSD, when you sit and talk to them, it's not like talking to someone who can't understand.
Which is true, which is very true, you know, and that's kind of where I guess I can, you know, just give those suggestions of kind of the things I did, but at the same time, therapy kind of helped me the most of anything, you know, and of course, you know, my brothers that I served with, you know, and guys that I keep in contact with to this day, you know, they always stayed on me, but they was always like, you need to go get help, like legitimate help, you know, and then that's kind of when it started to get better.
Josh, when I talked to your team there at Robert Alexander Center, I noticed that all of you are very passionate. Many of them have been through that journey. You being one of those, you like working with veterans, don't you? Yeah, I would think it's very rewarding.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, it's one of the better things when I was presented with the opportunity to do it, especially at RAC. You know, I took the chance to, you know, jump out there and, you know, start being able to kind of just, and not even really work, just coach these guys and just talk to them and just be an ear to listen to when they come through the facility.
You also deal with behavioral issues and challenges that people have. So I'll ask you this. Let's say someone at home, mom or dad, suspects that maybe their daughter or their son is having some kind of abuse issues, whether it be alcohol or drugs. What are some of the signs that we should look for as parents?
Can you ask that question one more time?
You know, like signs, things that you might see through your son or daughter, or maybe a brother or sister. You go, you know, I think they may be abusing, but I'm not certain. What kind of things should we look for?
If they're not wanting to spend time with this family as much, you know, they're kind of isolating, you know, a big sign that I would look for is where are they putting their trash at? You know, because they're hiding their beer cans or their drugs, or they're hiding their bottles, things like that, you know, and then just also kind of where is their actual state of mind at, you know, are they quick to get irritated, you know, when you say something to them and they just blow up, you know, sometimes that's a sign of, you know, abuse, you know, because when you don't have it, you get real irritated, and then once you start using at that present moment, you kind of become comfortable, you know.
I'd like to get rid of some of the mistruths out there. I think there's a lot of myths, especially when it comes to veterans. Sometimes we think, okay, PTSD, this is a guy who's going to grab a gun and do something awful, and you're laughing because that is not the case, but yet it remains serious.
Yes, it does.
So what kind of issues do you see? Because I know a lot of veterans tend to hole up within themselves and say, I can handle this, that tough guy mentality. What do you see, Josh?
I think we need to get rid of the tough guy mentality in our community, because in my mind and the way that I've kind of grown over the years is that it's tougher to talk about these things. You know, it's tougher to express yourself and kind of express how you're feeling, you know, and the emotions that you're going through, than to bottle them up in a way that's not being tough, you know. It's because eventually it will destroy you, you know, and then being fearful of opening up and then facing that fear, you know, with courage, that's being tough.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the way you articulated that, because I believe that to be true. The real courage comes from the ability to say, open up I can't handle this myself.
Yes.
That's courageous.
Exactly.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. The Robert Alexander Center, getting back there, you said you love what you do. I noticed that a lot of members of your team, when they come in to chat with me, they feel like you do, Josh. So what is it? What separates you from other maybe facilities that help out people who suffer from abuse or veterans who suffer from PTSD? What do you think separates your facility?
I think it's the family mentality that we have. You know, when we come into work, we actually communicate with each other. We talk. You know, we like being around each other as a staff. You know, we like to, you know, joke around. You know, it's not like a serious, you know, you have to be in there and always be, you know, kind of have that serious mindset. You know, it's like we like to have fun. You know, we like to just be loose. You know, and then the clients see that. You know, and then they start to open up. You know, but it's mostly just that family mentality that we have, is because we like each other.
And that's authentic.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I think that's contagious. That authentic, hey, let's do this together. We're all in this together.
Exactly.
I like that mentality. That's a really good, to me, culture to have in a place like the Robert Alexander Center. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the fact that you guys also, it's once someone, let's say you see a veteran, and you've helped him get through his PTSD. He seems to be more adjusted. It doesn't stop there, does it? They leave the facility. You guys stay in touch. I think that's important.
Yeah. We keep in contact with them throughout their duration, and even if they slip up, you know, we encourage them to come back or go somewhere else. You know, but it's always just that constant contact. You know, and then we're also throwing events and doing things like that, to where we invite them to the events and say, hey, come out and have fun. You know, and then I also try to encourage them to go to places like the Veterans Club, you know, where that is the whole community is about veterans and first responders, and then they can go out there and just be around a group of people that they're familiar with.
And strengthen numbers.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, so for someone out there who may have a family member who suffers from PTSD, and I love your message, and what you're saying is, hey, let's talk about it, let's work through things, but yet they have a veteran who is reluctant to do so. What would you say to them?
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough conversation.
Yeah, and it's also a tough trying to get veterans to kind of open up, you know, because we've just talked about that. I would just say persistence. You know, just stay on them and just, you know, try to help them, remind them that it's more to life to live for, you know, and sitting around and dwelling on things that can be helped and just, you know, trying to drink your life away or do drugs for the rest of your life just isn't going to help.
Josh Anderson, thank you for your message, and I do appreciate your service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, again, it's the Robert Alexander Center. If you're having issues, then there's the information on your screen. There's the number. There's the website as well. I promise you this, you'll be impressed with the team as I have been here on WAVE Listens.